All right, welcome to episode number 72 of the Let's Discuss Gaming podcast. I am your host, Triple J. Joining me is my co-host, Dr. Games 101.
Going on, guys? Let's do this.
Yep, we got a lot of news to talk about, a lot more than 2 weeks ago, at least. So what do you say? Why don't we get started?
Oh, yeah, definitely.
All right, first one up. That's my email. I can shut that off. Okay, let's refresh this. Of course, I have these. Okay, I'm going to have to just reopen the article. Hold on, guys. Something you think maybe Microsoft doesn't want me to get started with this first story.
Is it about Microsoft selling Xboxes, having a hard time selling Xboxes?
Yep.
I guess this is like an omen or a sign right there. Like it's the works of Phil Spencer's, and his minions of sorcerers and shit.
All right, so I'm just gonna have to go into my history. Microsoft struggling, and pull it up from Kotaku. Okay, here we go. Microsoft is struggling to sell Xboxes again. Even Game Pass can't make up the difference. Seem to make up the difference. 2 years in, Microsoft's Xbox Series is already losing steam. The tech giant reported on Tuesday that revenue from console hardware sales were down 30% from the same time in 2022 after big games like Starfield got delayed. Game Pass didn't seem to be making up the difference. You might think that meant Microsoft had a bad third quarter, but total revenue and net income were up year over year by 7% and 9% respectively. Office software and Azure cloud computing services made plenty of money. It was the hardware side of the business that suffered. Revenue from devices like the Surface tablets Tom Brady kept trashing last year was down 30%, and Xbox consoles were down by the same amount. That nosedive in next-gen hardware sales came despite big holiday discounts like the temporary $50 price cut to the Series S. It was no doubt driven in large part by the fact that Microsoft's lineup of first-party exclusives had been anemic. Bethesda's Starfield, originally set to launch in November of last year, is now coming in September. Redfall, the upcoming vampire shooter from Arcane, didn't make it out in time for the last quarter either. Xbox content and services revenue, meanwhile, was only up 3%. That includes Game Pass, the Netflix-like subscription service Microsoft says is profitable, but which seems to have plateaued in terms of gaining new subscribers. That's probably again because of the lack of big new releases coming to the service. While there are great games added to the library every month, the blockbuster Microsoft is supposed to be supplying still aren't materializing. There are more than a few shades of the start of the Xbox One console cycle here, the stormy period that originally led Microsoft to stop reporting the actual sales figures for its consoles altogether. If anything, competition is even more fierce this time around, between the runaway success of the Nintendo Switch and the PS5 selling faster than the PS4 despite supply shortages brought on by a historic pandemic. But Microsoft might have had bigger plans in store than selling the most boxes. The company has teased opening up its own app store for mobile devices and is currently trying to wrap the $69 billion acquisition of Activision Blizzard, which would immediately give it a huge influx of popular blockbusters for Game Pass. UK regulators are expected to announce their final decision on the deal of April 26, which is actually the next story that we'll get into, their decision. What do you think about? Is this surprising to you that about the sales hardware wise not materializing?
Yeah. Oh yeah, definitely. It's a sign that it's a sign for a while, my friend, guys out there. It's Microsoft has been lacking since the Xbox One generation, and even though the Xbox Series X and S has good expectations of its specs and its quality at first, but the overall looming doom and gloom for the Xbox brand of Microsoft's division is it's daunting now because of the sales going on and the popularity of it all. From Xbox One the original Xbox One, there was no sales in Japan for the matter for many years. Actually, it was like down below like about 50,000 copies, not even. It's that bad in Japan for the Xbox brand especially, and that's their core audience, the Japanese. They actually have a lot of interest in gaming and other technological devices. And Sony has a niche audience in Japan as well, but with Microsoft, it's like it's opposite of that. So it's that's just that one example, of course. So it's going to be a struggle for Microsoft for a while in the Xbox division.
Yeah, I agree. Microsoft, they're that no big first party releases that's not they're starting to feel the effect of that now.
Yeah.
Rather than last year. Also, Microsoft. Yeah, so I mean, between that and between consoles still being worth so much, it's not a surprise. I mean, if someone has an Xbox One, why would they upgrade to the Xbox Series just for 2, 3, 4 games, and all those games being third party? It's which if it's third party, there's a chance it might be available somewhere else. Especially if it's on Microsoft, you could probably get it on your PC as well. So
right.
So I mean, if the game, so it's not. It's this is why hardware needs good software, but I also think the only saving grace is you can tell the Xbox Series isn't Microsoft's only concern. They got their hands in the Activision Blizzard deal trying to go through. They got their hands in this. They got their hands in that. But like Game Pass, the only reason I still have my Game Pass subscription active, despite the number of new games coming out, is because there's so many other games that I haven't had the chance to play yet.
That's upside to it all.
Like Yakuza Like a Dragon, I was playing 2 weeks ago. I'm only up to chapter 7, and then I didn't have a chance to play it recently, between job searching and running my online store. But there's still plenty more games that I want to try, including games I didn't think I would like at first, like Watch Dogs 2. So,
oh yeah, definitely.
So it seems like they're at least the saving grace is they're not all hands on deck with the Xbox Series by any point. And but I'm surprised Game Pass isn't picking up the slack.
Yeah, Game Pass was, at first, it was a good thing for the first 3 years at least. But then the last couple of years, especially since the pandemic had started and ended as of this year and all, it started to show its ugly head, the economy, from that backlash of all that money pumping into the system or into the economy at large, all of those those stimulus checks and stuff like that. So there's a big backlash to all companies, no matter how big or small you are. And Microsoft's feeling it in the Xbox division once again, and this time it's for real. So it's and we still have long ahead of us for this upcoming summer, because if they're not going to make sales for the summertime, if they're not going to make any extreme measures to get better sales for customers, both gold and silver members, it's going to be something of a bad winter for this winter again. This summer's going to get worse.
Yeah. So I mean, Microsoft's they I mean, like I said, they've been making sales. It's just not in the Xbox department or the Game Pass department.
Game Pass is stagnant. Yeah, it's very stagnant now. Like, they're still making sales, of course, with newcomers coming, but it's not as much as like buying a game every single time of $60, $70 per copy. It just has like a subscription, obviously. So
not many people can do that anyway. I mean, if would you rather $15 a month, or would you rather $60, $70 3-4 times a year?
Good point.
And you might not be getting that $60, $70 every time. It might be a different developer, especially, like I said, no first party games. Microsoft's not getting that money.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's happened. Ready to move on?
Yeah, ready.
All right. Next. Okay. Let me close that. Let's see. Um, the Competition and Markets Authority, a UK regulatory agency that serves the same function as the Federal Trade Commission in the US, has blocked Microsoft's pending $68.7 billion transaction of Activision Blizzard over cloud gaming concerns. This news is somewhat shocking, as quite a few experts predicted the CMA would allow the deal to go through, and while this block presents a large barrier to Microsoft's progress forward toward this acquisition, it's not a be all end all for the purchase. Microsoft says it remains dedicated to this acquisition and will appeal the CMA's ruling. As for why the CMA is moving to prevent the acquisition, it cites concerns the deal would alter the future of the fast growing cloud gaming market, leading to reduced innovation and less choice for UK gamers over the years to come. It's an official announcement. The final decision to prevent the deal comes after Microsoft's proposed solution failed to effectively address the concerns in the cloud gaming sector outlined in the Competition and Markets Authority provisional findings published in February. It continues, Microsoft has a strong position in cloud gaming services, and the evidence available to CMA showed that Microsoft would find it commercially beneficial to make Activision's games exclusive to its own cloud gaming service. It says elsewhere in the announcement that the deal would reinforce Microsoft's advantage in the market by giving it control over important gaming content such as Call of Duty, Overwatch, and World of Warcraft. Is World of Warcraft even relevant nowadays? And that evidence available to the CMA indicates that, absent the merger, Activision would start providing games via cloud platforms in the foreseeable future. Prior to this block, Microsoft did submit a proposal to address some of the CMA's concerns, but ultimately it failed to sway the agency. The CMA had out a number of significant shortcomings connected with the growing and fast-moving nature of cloud gaming services from Microsoft's proposal. It did not sufficiently cover different cloud gaming service business models, including multi-game subscription services. It was not sufficiently open to providers who might wish to offer versions of games on PC operating systems other than Windows. It would standardize the terms and conditions on which games are available as opposed to them being determined by the dynamism and creativity of competition in the market, as would be expected in the absence of the merger. Microsoft released a statement about today's announcement, citing that it is disappointed the decision seemingly reflects a flawed understanding of the video game and cloud gaming market. It will appeal the decision. Here is Microsoft's statement in full from Vice Chair and President Brad Smith. We remain fully committed to the acquisition and will appeal. The CMA's decision rejects a pragmatic path to address competition concerns and discourages technology innovation and investment in the United Kingdom. We have already signed contract to make Activision Blizzard's popular games available on 150 million more devices, and we remain committed to reinforcing these agreements through regulatory remedies. We're especially disappointed that after lengthy deliberations, this decision appears to reflect a flawed understanding of this market and the way the relevant cloud technology actually works. Activision Blizzard CEO Bobby Kotick released a statement about the CMA's decision following its announcement as well. You can read it below in full. Today, the CMA, a regulatory agency in the UK, decided not to approve our merger with Microsoft. This isn't the news we wanted, but it is far from the final word on this deal. Alongside Microsoft, we can and will contest this decision, and we're already begun the work to appeal to the UK Competition Appeals Tribunal. We're confident in our case because the facts are on our side. This deal is good for competition. The UK hopes to grow its leadership position in technology, and a combined Microsoft Activision would accomplish exactly that. At a time when the fields of machine learning and artificial intelligence are thriving, we know the UK market would benefit from Microsoft's bench strength in both domains, as well as our ability to put those technologies to use immediately. By contrast, if the CMA's decision holds, it would stifle investment, competition, and job creation through the UK gaming industry. This merger is a complex process. I know I'm not the only one frustrated by the hurdles and delays. We're accustomed to a company culture that moves quickly to accomplish big goals, so it's tough when we can't keep things at our usual energetic pace. We'll keep pressing our case because we know this merger will benefit our employees, the broader UK tech workforce, and players around the world. I'm going to do everything I personally can to advocate for us and help regulators understand the competitive dynamics in our industry. What gives me confidence is that whether on our own or united with another company, we are one of the strongest companies in our industry, poised for continued growth and building on our incredible IP. I appreciate your continued hard work and focus and for continuing to connect and engage our players around the world. This is the best time to be in our field, and you all represent the best of the industry. We'll be sure to keep you updated on next steps as they happen. Activision Blizzard's official wording on the decision is as follows. The CMA's report contradicts the ambitions of the UK to become an attractive country to build technology business. We will work aggressively with Microsoft to reverse this on appeal. The report's conclusions are a disservice to UK citizens who face increasingly dire economic prospects. We will reassess our growth plans for the UK. Global innovators, large and small, will take note that despite all its rhetoric, the UK is clearly closed for business. Beyond this CMA decision and Microsoft's forthcoming appeal of it, Microsoft still has to contend with the Federal Trade Commission, who, like the CMA, can move to block or greenlight the deal here in the States. What do you think this means for Microsoft's pending acquisition of Activision Blizzard?
Well, no. It's getting serious now. And then I guess Microsoft's not going to get this acquisition so easily as planned. And it's been a year and 3 months now since the announcement that they're going to do it back in January 2021, and now we're in May of 2023. And so it's kind of like, a conundrum for Phil Spencer and Bill Gates to work with these regulators. It sucks, At the same time, it's a good thing. It's for the sake of not monopolizing the game industry or the gaming community or whichever comes first, to the point where it's it's just one company dominating everything. And if the gaming service sucks, Microsoft, if ever, to some people that is, then it's get the only one choice at first. But that's not the case really anytime soon. So it's good for the time being. I guess they over took too much on put on their plate, put a lot of food on their plate to the point where it's they can't eat it all. Microsoft and Xbox, so it's kind of they could have, but they didn't, and now they have to suffer some kind of consequence, of losing some money in the process. So I'm sure that did something like that.
Yeah. Honestly, I saw Yang had talked about this a few days ago. I don't know what he said in his video. I didn't watch it, but obviously, the message we get: this isn't over by a long shot. Whether it's through an appeal or whatever, it's not just Microsoft appealing it. Activision Blizzard's also appealing it. So, and they're going to work with Microsoft however they can. So. I guess this process is going to be a lot longer, unfortunately. But they say Microsoft's going to get a bunch of IPs. But like I said, World of Warcraft, if this was 1990 and Mr. T was still doing commercials for World of Warcraft, that would be one thing. But World of Warcraft has been dead for how long?
Oh, at least 5 years.
I think it's been dead longer than that. I think once League of Legends came in, World of Warcraft was cast aside.
Oh yeah.
So Microsoft, Activision Blizzard has to have valuable IPs, not just dead ones. Call of Duty is is one that's still alive. Apparently the CMA and now even if the FTC greenlights this deal, we still will have to wait until the CMA's decision is appealed, and hopefully the other decision will be made next time. But we'll keep you updated as that happens. Ready to move on?
I want to say too that Phil Spencer did discuss some of it in his interview with Funny Gamers, or a group of Funny Gamers. If I remember correctly, the source of that podcast, it was broadcasted sometime earlier, a few days ago, and Phil Spencer was ashamed in the matter that it didn't go through with the Activision Blizzard deals, from what I could tell. So he was disappointed in it too. So it's so like you said, so it's gonna be a long shot. Hopefully, it would not go through 100% through until they find some more pet peeves or some sort of nitpicks about the acquisition. But it's a way to regulate the economy at large. It's especially with the gaming industry. So You don't want to end up like with Hollywood and movies and TV. So something of that sort.
I'm just wondering if it's all about cloud gaming. I wonder if maybe Microsoft could just make a deal that none of the Call of Duty games will appear on Game Pass or any cloud streaming services if that's the CMA's problem.
I see.
I wonder if that would, because they said it's all over cloud gaming, or maybe all of them will appear on, and they made deals with other game streaming services like that company in Ukraine. They made they signed a 10-year contract with Call of Duty, so it's not like it was gonna be a monopoly cloud gaming wise. So I don't know exactly why the CMA is concerned, because the deals already in place dispute that it's going to be a unfair opportunity. That's going to be an unfair opportunity in the cloud gaming market.
Yeah,
but I guess this story's far from over. Ready to move on?
Yeah, ready.
All right, next. PlayStation Plus free games for May 2023 revealed. The trio of free games for PlayStation Plus Essential subscribers will appeal to racing and extreme sports fans. Following a leak, PlayStation has confirmed the next batch of free games for PlayStation Plus subscribers. PlayStation Plus members across all three tiers will be able to claim the trio of games in May 2023. Grid Legends, Chivalry 2, and Descenders. All three games will be free for PlayStation Plus subscribers starting May 2nd. Racing fans will definitely want to check out Grid Legends. Released just last year, Codemasters' latest Grid game, the fifth in the franchise, is arguably the best one yet. Grid Legends has a cinematic story mode, cross-platform multiplayer for up to 22 players, and a creation suite that lets you make your own tracks. It's a good one to check out regardless if you're a diehard racing fan or casual player, as it's a hybrid arcade simulation racer with customizable settings. Both the PS5 and PS4 versions of Grid Legends will be up for grabs. For extreme sports enthusiasts, Descenders is worth a look in May, the downhill cycling game that has a simple hook: bike fast, very fast. This mountain biking game has procedurally generated tracks to keep things fresh, and your bike itself also has special permutations that utilize roguelike systems. Descenders is fun whether you're playing solo or with friends online. It's also one of those sports games that is pretty easy to get into, but you have to put the time in to really master its unique style. Meanwhile, Chivalry 2 is a totally different kind of multiplayer game. You play as a medieval warrior across huge battlefields with 64 players. Played from a first person, Chivalry 2 is a fast-paced and bloody game that features more than 30 different weapons, a diverse class and subclass system, and mounts. Yes, you can trample your opponents on horseback. Make sure to claim April's PlayStation Plus freebies before the new batch replaced them 4 days ago. I think all three of these games were on Game Pass. Did you play any of them?
Not that I'm aware of, no. Unless it was like an ATV off-road or something of that sort. Similarly, that was on Game Pass, or the games with gold, actually. So it's, if I remember correctly, too, speaking of racing games, this month as well, especially, Xbox is having, I know it's Xbox, but Xbox is having the pod racing, Star Wars pod racing from episode 1 of the Star Wars movie as part of the games with gold. So surprisingly, they competed at the same time with PlayStation Plus for this month as well. So this is going to be interesting show of events,
Yeah. Well, we'll get into that. We're going to talk about games with gold later. I got the list of what's available, even though I haven't been on Xbox in the last couple of weeks.
I see.
Yeah. So let me pull up the. Okay, I already X'd out. Yeah, I thought about playing Descenders. I decided against it. So, but that's on Game Pass. At least it was last I checked. Grid Legends, I really never cared about the grid games, but I do like arcade racing. And I think I played Chivalry 2. I think they had a Game Pass quest one time. So I just kept playing battles until I fulfilled the Game Pass quest, because it was like kill 30 enemies or something.
Yeah.
So yeah, these games are great, but as far as I know, for Microsoft fans, all three of these games are available on Game Pass. So if any of these games offer you and you have an Xbox One, you can get them via Game Pass, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
Ready to move on?
Yeah, ready.
All right. Next, Nintendo confirms its return to Gamescom in 2023. More attendees will be announced in the upcoming weeks. Gamescom's organizers have confirmed that Nintendo will be returning to exhibit at the 2023 event following a 4-year absence. We are excited to announce that Nintendo will be exhibiting at Gamescom 2023, read a tweet from the Cologne Events official account, spotted by VGC. Many more exhibitors will follow in the coming weeks. Stay tuned. Gamescom importance to the video gaming calendar has only risen since the news of E3's cancellation dropped earlier late in March. However, until now, no one knew whether Nintendo would show up to present. Nintendo has been notably absent from Gamescom since 2019, after which the COVID pandemic forced the event show to adopt a digital-only format for the next 2 years. 2022 saw the return of over 250,000 visitors to the physical show floor, along with the reveal of new game trailers, outstanding cosplays, and so much more. However, Nintendo, alongside Sony and a number of other notable developers and publishers, once again opted to skip proceedings. Nintendo return to Gamescom 2023 represents a big win to the show's organizers, though it isn't yet clear exactly what Nintendo will opt to show. Excuse me. Tickets are currently on sale for this year's event, which is set to run from August 22nd to August 27th, and will be kicked off by Jeff Keighley's traditional opening night live show on August 22nd. So, what do you think about Nintendo attending Gamescom 2023?
Surprised me, especially what's going on with E3 this year, where it's obsolete in a technical sense, or it's a technicality, because they cancel. If I remember correctly, they cancel E3 for this year as well too.
Yep, it's fully canceled.
Yeah, that's weird. Gamescom is kind of like the second to next to E3's event, so it's kind of like, I thought there'd be like a domino effect going on in industry at large, where all these gaming showcase events from Gamescom, E3, Tokyo Game Show, Comic-Con, you name it, will kind of collapse little by little after the effect and so on and so forth. But I see it's going to be a long, slow process in the meantime. So give it another few more years, Gamescom will be irrelevant as well too. So
I don't know about that. I think Gamescom, because I think Gamescom has only been around since 2019. So
right.
Gamescom, maybe they adapted or failed to do what E3 should have done, or they did what E3 failed to do to stay relevant. And you still need these gaming festivals and events, so they're never going to completely die out 100%. You're still going to have them here and there. Heck, even Microsoft and Nintendo have said that they'll do their own events, not just virtual events. So it's probably I think E3 just has failed. It's like comparing a Timex watch to a Rolex. E3 is a dinosaur. Gamescom knows what it needs to do to keep people's attention.
You're right. I should take part of it back because it's still new. I forgot. So I thought they were like 2015, but I was wrong about that too. So because Gamescom, yes, they're similar setting to E3, but what I hear what the difference between E3 and the rest of the events, the Tokyo Game Show, Gamescom, Video Game Awards, you name it, E3 was appealed mainly towards developers and other inside workers of the company, or within companies like that of Microsoft, with Amazon Web Services, et cetera, et cetera. So all those major companies come together, and workers of the companies like engineers, programmers, even the janitor maybe from Nintendo. You never know, right?
Actually, I was wrong. Gamescom has been around since 2009.
Okay. I was off by 6 years.
But they said, let's see, Gamescom is the world's largest gaming event measured by exhibition space and number of visitors, with 370,000 visitors and 1,037 exhibitors from 56 countries attending the show in 2018.
Oh, wow. Nice.
Yeah, so I hate to say it, but E3 could only hope to do that well any given year.
Oh, yeah. And like I said, E3 is like an insider workers like conference of sorts within the companies at large. So it's not like publicly available to the public. Obviously, it's like it's just available to the inside members of the companies of each company. So
they had show floors that fans could walk around and experience trailers. But you're right. I think most people like at E3 were usually had like a YouTube channel that they were reporting on or something like that.
Only a select few people can attend these events at the E3 events. Last time I checked, I did my research on E3 at least I got about 3-4 years ago. I was like, "What is E3?" I don't heard of E3 since like the 1990s, early 2000s. It's just that I was like, because we were considered to be the outsiders because it was for the people on the inside of the game of knowledge and the privileges, the access, the level of access to these companies and these projects going on. So, but by the time Xbox One came around with their, web services to the public directly into their homes now. Yes, the internet's been on for years, obviously, on the computer and all. But, the Xbox One actually, and Xbox 360 themselves too, now you can watch it through your console live on through your TV and all, instead of going through the cable services or even on the internet where you can find websites for, because not everyone had access to the internet at the time as much. But now it's 2023, almost everyone has access to the internet no matter what, so it's like, that's why it kind of diluted itself after a while, E3. So
Nintendo will be at Gamescom. I hope it's a big hit, just like it's been in the past.
Yeah, we got to see our next Zelda and Kirby game, I hope.
Yeah. Ready to move on?
Oh, yes.
All right. Next up, I think it's the... let me turn that on. Next up, I think we're going to be covering the games with gold offerings.
Oh, yeah.
Shovelware, come on. Xbox Games with Gold. 3 games for May 2023 available right now. An iconic racing game and a soothing puzzle platformer headline the month of May. May's Xbox Games with Gold lineup includes 2 games, both of which are playable on Xbox Series and Xbox One. The 2 free titles are Star Wars Episode 1 Racer and Hoa, and one of them is available to claim now. Star Wars Episode 1 Racer is up for grabs through May 31st, sending players back to 1999. This game allows players to relive the iconic pod racing moments from Star Wars Episode 1, The Phantom Menace, and features 21 different races to choose from, including Anakin Skywalker race. Racer first launched in 1999 for the Nintendo 64 before being ported to modern platforms in 2020. Hoa will also come to the service and will be available from May 16th to June 15th. This is a stunning puzzle platformer with a hand-painted art style that will surely captivate its audience. It's designed to be relaxing, thanks in part to its serene music and soundtrack, along with its inviting visuals. Remember, you will need an active Xbox Live Gold or Game Pass Ultimate membership in order to access these titles at no additional cost. Once you claim the freebies, you'll be able to play them as long as you remain a subscriber. Really? You'll be able to play them as long as you remain a subscriber. Usually games with gold, once you download them, you can play them. Well, I've actually never let my subscription one out because mine's included.
Yeah, I was told by my group of friends on Xbox. They told me that if you want to keep the games, it has to be either Xbox 360 or the original Xbox. But if it's Xbox One games, that are the games with gold, as long as you keep your membership, you still play them. And if you don't have it, then you can't play them anymore. The Xbox One games.
Really? So, even if they're downloaded to your console?
Yep. Even though you pay that every month for how many years, if not decades now, like me, if you cancel your subscription for Xbox or games of gold, you get to still play Xbox 360 games and original Xbox. You play them and download them and such. But the Xbox One, you have to pay full price for if you cancel the gold. So,
wow.
Yeah, it was like a small under the radar type of sense. So I heard about that many months, if not a good couple of years now. But I didn't believe it until like to get cancel my subscription one day and to see what happens. So my subscription ends at my Xbox Gold ends in on September. So if it's true, it's true.
Yeah. I guess I'm gonna keep my gold subscription if I can't afford Game Pass.
But at this rate, though, they're doing themselves a good favor, Microsoft Xbox, because this month has the pod racing game available to play this month for the Games with Gold. So it's not bad on our part to keep playing that. So I haven't played it yet, but I will eventually play it.
Yeah, I haven't played it yet. I haven't played Hoa either, but I've played. I swear I might have had it before with previous games with Gold. Or something like that. But yeah, so I didn't know that. I thought if a game was released on Xbox One and you downloaded it with Games with Gold, as long as it was on your console when your subscription ran out, it was it's already on your console. Obviously, you couldn't access the online services, but I figured the single player mode would still be there.
And that's why the DRM back in 2013's E3 conference of Xbox conference, people were pissed off when they hear about that DRM stuff, and now it's creeping up back into the surface with all this, always online services.
Yeah.
So it was inevitable back in 2013. Even though it had created a setback for Xbox to stop doing the DRM, but they still crept that back up over the years. And I'm sorry if I have to be bad-mouthing Microsoft Xbox, but this is what happens when you're anti-consumer after all, Microsoft. It's yes, we have Windows on every computer now for how many decades, but Xbox is a little different story because what if we want to trade materials like USB ports with games to game the console to game, etc., etc. It's baffling. They still actually put that into our Xboxes still. So
yeah, Microsoft better quit it because when they tried launching that in 2013, they almost killed the Xbox One before it was even launched. That's why they reversed it so quickly.
Yeah, I mean, most gamers on Xbox Live are like, there's 40 million as of like 2018 on Xbox Live playing on a constant basis. So of that 40 million, majority of them are like Generation Y, millennial gamers. So we we are used to spending every month on Xbox Game with Gold, but the Gen Z and anyone who's just basically dirt poor, who has an Xbox 360 or Xbox One, they see the travesties of the anti-consumerism. Because when you lose your gold, you can't play certain games, you can't do this, you can't do that. But with us, it's like we have the money, we work, we always work. Us Gen Y and earlier generations, it's a good way for the younger crowd to see all this stuff happening, but as they get older, and they have to just organize and fight for that stuff. So it's just baffling still. I'm glad I'm with friends with some younger crowds. It's still in that early 20s, late teens, so they keep me up to date with what's up with Xbox's features. So.
Yeah, well, like I said, that's the beauty of retro gaming. As long as I always have at least electricity. I can always pop in Marvel Ultimate Alliance on my Xbox original or Apocalypse on my PlayStation or, something like that and play that till my heart's content, basically.
Or I can play Time Crisis on my CRT TV underneath my desk collecting dust. We'll see. I'll dust that off and put my TV on top of the stand and start playing for real. Not for real, but like for actuality and just have a good time with my friends, whoever come over, whatever, rather than having online, always online DRM on my Xbox to play with others in different parts of the world,
Yeah.
So it's always that comfort to have someone next to you, like like you and I did back in the day. Triple J and I go to each other's houses playing, from was it SmackDown versus Raw and all, and Time Crisis at one time, and the Spider-Man game you share with me. So it was some good memories we had, and now everyone's in their own confines of home and got to stick with the always online service on to play with each other. There's no split screen anymore with most of these games in today's world. So
yeah. That's why I always say there's always a place for retro gaming. I could always turn on my Sega Genesis and play Toe Jam and Earl and Panic on Funkatron or Sewer Shark. and I still think Sewer Shark is a good game, even though I'm in the minority on that.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I mean, that's just I didn't know that, but then again, we're you and me, and people our age, we're more used to gaming subscriptions. Like I used to be in 2011, was a monthly subscriber to GameFly until I moved down here in 2017.
Right.
I stopped my GameFly subscriptions just because games were taking like 2 weeks from the time I sent one off to the time I received one, and now instead of subscribing to GameFly, I'm subscribed to Game Pass, which allows me gold and everything. So I probably wouldn't feel it unless I really got hit for money where I couldn't afford the subscription 1 month. But
Oh yeah.
but unfortunately, what can you do? I
Well,
just don't. I just know if Microsoft tries this on a big level, they're going to get the same response they did in 2013.
Well, obviously we're older now, and that means we have more chances of having more steady incomes to get older because we're in our 30s. But the ones who are like 20s and younger, who just started out in the world trying to find a job, or they never had a job, so they had to rely on parents or a roommate, or perhaps like over the internet, subscription grouping going on with like exchanging codes and passwords to share each other's information to go on the Xbox Live and all, they can organize and just or just work or whatever. But obviously that's an option for them to understand that in the world of consumerism, there's gives and takes. You can have it all at times, but you can't give it all to either. So it's kind of like it's like a consumer, the industry, the distributor. It's a three-way dance of all time. It's like a triple threat of exchanges, give and take. So you can't have it all, you can't give all, and that's what I try to explain to my the younger gamers who I interact with when we play Halo together. They like complain like, oh, Halo it sucks, and we gotta pay $20 for a skin, and we gotta pay for gold, and it's horrible. And they're saying, and I'm like, you guys, it's just. I mean, they convinced me not to play Halo Infinite for a while now. It's been like 3 weeks I haven't played Halo as much, but Halo Infinite, that is. But the Xbox Gold and stuff like that, it's it's like, what do you want really for Xbox Live Gold? I mean, it's something. It's not like it's nothing,
Right. Yeah. So anyway, Star Wars Episode 1 Racer is available now, and Hoa will be available probably May 16th.
Definitely. I gotta play more of that pod racing myself sometime tonight too if I can.
All right. Ready to move on?
I just want to say too, with the games we go for the podcast, the pod racing game, it used to be the N64 on many years ago, and that was pretty good to actually own that copy. I never actually owned it, but I played it. It was pretty good. Now they upscale the graphics a bit, so I recommend playing the pod racing game whenever you get a chance. Though, unfortunately, they didn't make it online compatible for online gaming. But if you have like a sister or brother or a close neighbor, friends, get together and play 4-player pod racing.
Okay, that sucks. They didn't add online gameplay.
They still have like all the capabilities, like leaderboards, I believe. I'm not sure if it's leaderboards or not, but it's something where it still falls like online something of service, So,
all right. So ready to move on?
Yeah, I'm ready.
All right. Next. Microsoft shows confidence after CMA setback by signing another 10-year cloud gaming deal. The CMA blocked the Activision Blizzard deal earlier this week. Microsoft has signed another 10-year deal to bring Xbox games to more cloud gaming platforms despite the Competition and Markets Authority blocking its Activision Blizzard deal earlier this week. As reported by Eurogamer, Microsoft Vice Chair and President Brad Smith said on Twitter, the company has signed a deal with Enware to bring Xbox-built games to its platform alongside Activision Blizzard titles after the acquisition closes. Smith showed no sign that Microsoft is deterred by the CMA's decision on April 26 to block the Activision Blizzard deal from going through, despite it coming as a result of cloud gaming concerns. Microsoft is appealing the decision, of course, but this will be a long and likely challenging process. Microsoft and European cloud gaming platform Enware have signed a 10-year deal agreement to stream PC games built by Xbox on its platform, as well as Activision Blizzard titles after the acquisition closes, said the statement from Microsoft. While it's still early for the emerging cloud segment in gaming, this new partnership, combined with our other recent commitments, will make more popular games available on more cloud game streaming services than they are today. Microsoft signed a similar deal to bring Xbox games again, including Activision Blizzard titles like Call of Duty, if the deal goes through to Nintendo platforms in February, alleviating some of the CMA's concern that it will make these games exclusive to its own platforms. It also signed deals with other cloud gaming platforms, including Ubidus, Boosteroid, and more. So, yeah, that's my thing. They signed with more gaming platforms. I think Boosteroid was the one in the Ukraine. Why is I don't understand what the CMA's concern is, because they're not just making deals with game developers; they're making deals with cloud gaming platforms as well.
Mm-hmm.
So, do you understand why is CMA just sticking their heels in the mud for nothing? Because it seems like everything they're worried about is not going to come to fruition, not without major lawsuits.
Okay. Well, it's another 10-year gaming cloud deal with the acquisition of Microsoft's Activision Blizzard deal, right? So it's all about the regulations in industry, or if you want to call it like the governmental affairs and the bureaucracy behind the regulation of companies. So it's a nightmare if you're not careful with stepping on government's toes, which Microsoft has not as of lately for the last 15 years. So I don't understand what's the big deal. I mean, back in the 1990s, early 90s, or earlier, late 1980s, when Windows came out for the first time, or first few times, the government was concerned about Microsoft being a monopoly back then. So it's kind of like this, flashback / rehashing of a personal grudge with Microsoft, I bet, with the government, or whether it's Canada's government or even America's government or any other government around the world. It's a conundrum right now. That's all it is right now. It's hopefully it will die down within a few months, and most likely the deal will not pass. But at the same time, like, we're not sure yet, so it's kind of like it's all up in the air now. So it's all about waiting it out and just play the waiting game. That's all it is now.
Yeah, so I guess all Microsoft can do is basically get as many cloud gaming competitors. Make deals with as many cloud gaming competitors as you can to negate what the CMA said.
And CMA is in Canada, right?
No, UK.
Oh, the UK. I'm sorry about that. So the UK has their own strict laws too, with PEGI and all that stuff like that. Even if there's a rating sport and stuff like that in the United Kingdom, but still, it's like it's regulation after regulation, and the bigger the company is, that even that just started out, the more red tape, the more lawyers you need, and everything else, and which is no problem for Microsoft, because for decades they've been holding their ground, with their monopoly, antics, whatever you call it, based on government's perspective, whether it's in the United Kingdom or in the United States or in Canada. So,
yeah. So anyway, they made another deal with another cloud gaming platform. So, so that again, I don't know what the CMA's problem is. Ready to move on?
Yeah, ready.
All right. Next, Dauntless developer is the latest studio to suffer significant layoffs. Phoenix Lab, the developer behind Dauntless, has laid off 9% of its workforce amid a larger industry trend towards downsizing. The gaming industry has suffered a wave of layoffs in recent weeks, and Dauntless developers Phoenix Lab is the latest victims of the trend. Back in February, GamesBeat reported that the studio's management purchased Phoenix Labs from the Singaporean game company Garena, which originally acquired the studio back in 2020. The studio didn't say how many employees were affected by the move, but Polygon estimates that it impacted around 30 people based on its LinkedIn profile. Phoenix Labs issued the following statement to Polygon. As part of the reorganization, we worked diligently to find new assignments for as many employees as possible. While we succeeded in reassigning many people, there were cases where we had to part ways with some talented folks. In total, 9% of our total employees have been affected, including some out of Montreal and some working remotely in the United States. In addition to severance and benefits coverage extensions, we've offered assistance for job placements in an effort to ease transition for all affected employees. The company said back in mid-22 that it has 10 projects in various stages of development, including the upcoming co-op farming game, Fae Farm. In that same statement, Phoenix Labs said that Dauntless had reached at least 30 million players. Dauntless is a free-to-play RPG that is often compared to the Monster Hunter series. Similar layoffs have occurred at major gaming companies like Take-Two and Amazon. So, what do you think about this? About the studio, Phoenix Lab, laying off nearly 10% of its workers?
Surprisingly, I never heard of Phoenix Lab before in that format of worded. I did hear of Phoenix University and also how that's not tying it together. But anyway,
Of course not.
you never know. They're having like a pipeline or something from like college students of Phoenix University to Phoenix Labs.
I'm pretty sure they're separate.
Okay, I'm sorry. I don't overthink things at times, my friends. So it's something to because we have concern, yes, but like any other industry, Microsoft laid off 10,000 workers themselves, if not more so. Twitter did the other month or two with Elon Musk being in charge for the last few months now. Who else? One of the companies got laid off. I think Yahoo, if I'm wrong, may have to lay off a couple of hundred workers, maybe.
Didn't Naughty Dog have to lay off some people?
What's that?
Didn't Naughty Dog have to lay off some people?
I'm not sure about Naughty Dog. I haven't looked into that yet.
I think we talked about it on a different episode.
Right. But that was how many months ago? That was like, what, 3 months ago? Maybe 4 months?
Let's see. This was just... Oh, wait a minute. I'm finding articles from a couple of years ago. That's before we started.
Oh, wow.
Oh, there was the Order... the Order 1886 studio Ready at Dawn hit with massive layoffs back in the end of April a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah, I knew it had to be no more than 3 months back. I was like, yeah, it's got to be at least a month or two ago. That BuzzFeed got shut down. That they got shut down completely.
Yeah,
and they've been laying off people for years, on and off. So it's a domino effect. It's happening right now with our economy. There's been rumors, not rumors, but in Yahoo News lately, they said that the Federal Reserve is going to raise the interest to 5%, which I know all that's economic jargon to the average person, but in layman's terms, basically they try to reconfigure the economy to its best ability, because whatever had going on for the last few years with the stimulus checks and all, now it's starting to show its ugly head in the economy. So basically now they have to reconfigure things, and hopefully by the summertime it's not going to get any worse. If not by the October month, or whatever why is they call it the October surprise? I'm not sure exactly why as much, but that's what's going to happen by around that time, between like somewhere in October. But there's also rumors too. I know I'm going off of a tangent here, or partially going off topic, but there's also been rumors that they're going to convert like digital dollars into digital currency completely by July, which is like, that's kind of weird. So that's been like up in the air for a few days now. So it's
I don't think that's going to happen. Not until they get Bitcoin on board.
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, Bitcoin is obviously its own separate entity from the government, so the government cannot regulate that stuff. So they try to do something with the U.S. dollars to make sure everyone goes on the direct deposit or digital currency, wherever the case would be, with basically not having cash in our pockets.
Right.
But that's a separate story of its own, guys. But still, it's still connected somehow with the layoffs and such, because we've been like holding up this economy for how many years now, since the 2008-2009 economic crisis, and now it's starting to show itself again. It's a never-ending process until we can reconfigure the economy. That's when we get better video game sales, or better video game quality, and other entertainment flourishing, even because it's been like a daunting task to make good entertainment content, movies, TV shows, video games, and it's to the point where it's like they're not really being authentic or natural or organic with the output of its quality. So basically now it's all this woke, anti-establishment, whatever they try to do to the industry at large, to this audience at large of these movies of Marvel Cinematic Universe, Phase 4 and all. That's been a disaster out here, other than Spider-Man. So it's everything's connected to somehow, some way, and it's affected one industry or the other, and vice versa. So it's going to take some time to reconfigure that matter, and hopefully Dauntless develop the dauntless, dauntlessness of things with the Phoenix Labs will, we'll try to adapt to the matter at hand too. So
Yeah. So I mean, layoffs. It sucks, but it does seem to. It does seem like the last few months, a lot of companies have been going through them. At least that ones that have to do with gaming development.
oh yeah,
That's all I have to say. Ready to move on?
yeah, I'm ready.
All right. Next. Oh. Review roundup for Redfall. Here's what the critics say about Arcane Austin's newest game. Arcane Austin's latest game, Redfall, is out now on Xbox and PC after years of development and one high-profile delay. Originally set to launch in 2022, Redfall is finally here, taking players to a fictional Massachusetts town overrun by vampires in a shooter for 1 to 4 players. But what do critics think? Reviews for the game are generally not painting the rosiest picture. GameSpot's Redfall review scored the game a 4 out of 10, with reviewer Mark Delaney calling the game a bloody mess. IGN's review in progress for the always online game had the reviewer feeling thoroughly underwhelmed by Redfall's vanilla missions and lifeless world, and very disappointed at its lengthy list of display issues and bugs. Redfall was developed by Arcane Austin, which previously made 2017's Prey. Arcane Lion, meanwhile, developed the much-celebrated Deathloop and Dishonored 2. A PS5 edition of Redfall was apparently in the works until Microsoft bought Arcane owner ZeniMax. Redfall is the first title from Microsoft to launch at $70, a $10 price increase that the company warned in 2022 was coming. Starfield will also launch at $70 later this year. Redfall is available to buy outright on Xbox and PC and through Game Pass. You can see more review scores for Redfall below. For more on the critical reaction to Redfall, head to GameSpot's sister site, Metacritic. So GameSpot gives. So we're going to read these reviews. I'm just going to. We're going to read these reviews. Should I just do like the first paragraph of each one, so we're not here for like 20 minutes?
Yeah, first paragraph's okay.
Okay. GameSpot. I can't pretend to know whether Arcane chose to make a loot shooter or was assigned to make a loot shooter, but I can tell you what it feels like. One of the best game studios in the world suddenly made toothless. Redfall's Arcane is making compromises to its own design philosophies to serve a genre it may have been better off avoiding. We Got This Covered gave it 4.5 out of 5. With rich, beautiful open worlds, a multitude of weapons, and a wide variety of enemies to square off against, Redfall amazes. Players won't regret staking their claim on Arcane's latest masterpiece. This is from IGN's review, which is still in progress. After several sessions, solo co-op with a friend, and also in a group of 3, I must admit I'm thoroughly underwhelmed by Redfall's vanilla missions and lifeless world, and very disappointed at its lengthy list of display issues and bugs. Windows Central gave it 3 out of 5. There are far too many similar games out there that do what Redfall is trying to do, only better. The finished result is an aggressively average shooter that doesn't convincingly explain why it needs to exist as an always online game. I desperately wanted to love Redfall, but I'll just have to settle for not totally hating it. On the plus side, it did get me to install Prey again, and you should play that instead. Xbox Era gave it 8.5 out of 10. Redfall is fantastic in most ways. A few baffling design decisions around its co-op implementation and some frustrating technical issues hold it back. It is fun as hell solo and ridiculously so in co-op. With a little post-launch support, it is going to become something special. This may end up being Arcane's worst reviewed title ever, but it is going to be their most successful. Alone or with friends, Redfall is a game any fan of the genre should play. So, what do you think of Redfall after hearing these reactions?
Yeah, it's the Redfall is like pretty much like that.
It's going over like a fart in church, basically.
Yeah, yeah, that's something like that. Yeah, like oh lordy, my God. Redfall. I saw Voice Critical's gameplay of Redfall, and this guy, I'm not sure how wealthy he is, but he has a very good PC. He told the crowd, the audience of his Twitch stream, and he has in the max settings the maximum shadows, ray tracing, whatever the features are in Redfall, and the Redfall graphics still look like PS3 graphics. It was like some weird anomaly of sorts of Redfall. We thought it's gonna be a cake taker, but it didn't take no cake. It just took nothing. It looked bad. It looks boring. The bugs are weary, and the AI is stupid. It's not fluid. It looks too rigid and at the same time retarded. It looks bad. I haven't even played yet. That's the funny part. And I can't play it because it's on the even if it's cloud gaming. I think if they put cloud gaming on, I'll actually be able to play on the Xbox One. But I might have to play on the Xbox Series X and S to see how bad it is in my perspective. But it looks bad. It just Redfall is disappointing, and story. And we were expecting like very animated storytelling, animated cutscenes and all, but it's not the case really. It's like still images like that of Max Payne, but at least Max Payne put the effort in, put that kind of details with their story cutscenes in Max Payne. So it's kind of like comic book style type of shit they do. Redfall, like Max Payne does, what Redfall does, but it's more insulted in a sense to Max Payne. So it's that's how I look at it. Redfall.
I was just checking to see if Angry Joe reviewed it. He didn't do a review, but he did a rant. He said Redfall is a broken mess. $100 for this?
Shit.
And he got like a 10-minute rant on it.
He must be screaming and hollering, I bet.
Probably. I'll probably listen to it after we sign off for tonight.
He's like, are you out of your mind? You want to pay $100 for this shit?
I could imagine. Yeah, that's disappointing. I was anticipating Redfall. But again, it seems like it's maybe, what were we getting when that we could play Left 4 Dead 2, Back 4 Blood, especially with Back 4 Blood still on Game Pass. What did we need Redfall for?
Yeah. Redfall's supposed to be the first party game of Xbox. That's why it's supposed to be a big thing for 2023, or at least for 2022. Last time I checked, but
it just came out a few days ago, 2023.
Yeah, but they were supposed to come out late last year, I hear, and then they pushed the date back. If I remember correctly,
I think it was Starfield. I think so, but yeah, it seems like Redfall was just. Like I said, it went over like a fart in church. I mean...
and Starfield is like the last ace in the hole for 2023. And if this doesn't go through in September, it puts the date back at least 2 times with Starfield. So I hope they'll polish it up for the next 3 to 4 months from now and take it from there. If not, then it's going to be worse than Redfall. Starfield, that is,
Yeah, and I really don't care about Starfield because I'm not a big fan of space exploration games, so...
I like space exploration. I think it was science fiction. It just involves some guns and a little education here and there about the space world or the foundation of space. In my perspective,
Yeah. So Redfall, I was anticipating it myself, but after hearing everyone's reaction, it seems like the only ones that are rating this game highly is people that work for Xbox or Windows directly.
And obviously, they're probably going to have a neutral to positive review of it within the next few days or so as well. So it's because the mainstream reviewers, like the gaming mainstream reviewers, like that of One Up, Destructoid, IGN, Kotaku, they're going to say, oh, this game is fabulous, it's wonderful, you get to kill vampires and be with the Afro girl with the special purple powers, whatever they're going to say about her. Because they did okay design on the chick with the Afro and all. I mean, I probably like the 1970s look and all that Afro chick girl, but that's about it. Everything else is just weird and stupid and retarded.
Yeah, so ready to move on?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Next, hold on. All the Xbox Game Pass titles leaving May 15th. Game Pass is dumping 5 games on May 15th. Xbox Game Pass is removing more titles from the library in May as it does each month. There are 5 titles set for removal from the Game Pass catalog on May 15th, spanning a number of genres. The 5 games going away May 15th are Before We Leave, Danganronpa 2, Goodbye Despair Anniversary Edition, Hearts of Iron 4, Her Story, and Umawangi Generation Special Edition. As usual, Game Pass members save 20% on all games when buying them outright, so that's a silver lining for anyone who wants to keep playing any of these titles when they leave the catalog. In terms of new additions, Game Pass just added Redfall. Other titles coming in the first half of May include Ravenloke, which came out which was added 2 days ago, Wild West Definitive Edition, which will be added in 2 days, Shadow 1 Trilogy, which will be added in 3 days, and Fuga Melodies of Steel 2, which will be added on the 11th. Microsoft typically releases and removes titles from Game Pass in 2 waves, so check back later this month for the next batch. So again, Before We Leave, leaving all 3. Danganronpa 2, Goodbye Despair Anniversary Edition, leaving all 3. Umawangi Generation Special Edition, leaving Cloud Console and PC, and leaving, I guess, what was exclusive to PC, Hearts of Iron 4 and Her Story. Are you going to miss any of these games?
If I remember correct, I did play Danganronpa 1 or 2. I'm not sure which one exactly I played because they look alike, the graphics and all, the gameplay and all. So that game was all right in my book. Danganronpa, if I pronounce it properly.
I think that was a different franchise. So I never played. I've seen it, but I've never played it.
Right. It's all right. I mean, from what I could tell, it looks like still images and visual novel style type of gameplay and of sorts. It's not too exciting, but it's playable. It's not my cup of tea, but it's playable. It's kind of like, it's not similar, but it's like Coffee Talk. It's like a story. There's like something going on with the game and stuff like that. So it's all right to play every now and then. I can't say much about the Danganronpa though. But I will play more of it sometime next week. So
okay, I'm just looking over because I had first wave of Xbox Game Pass games ready to go, but basically they already in the list of what's getting removed. They already talked about what was coming. I'll reread just this list, not the article itself. So I'm not going to miss any of these games. The 5 games that they are taking, luckily, don't affect me.
It would be nice if they put Danganronpa back into the Game Pass of the first game, but they only brought out the second game for the Game Pass. Now they're gonna take it out. So
no, they have the third game too.
They have the third game?
Yeah.
Well, I want the first game to be in the Game Pass though.
Maybe that was like a Japan exclusive or something.
Right.
Maybe it never came out in the States.
Right, of course. Maybe, yeah.
Alright, so like I said, I got the list of I was going to go over games that are being added. I didn't know they were going to be covered, so I'll just read them again. Available now, Redfall on Cloud PC and Xbox Series. May 4th, Ravenloke, Cloud Console and PC. May 8th, Weird West Definitive Edition, Xbox Series exclusive. May 9th, Shadow 1 Trilogy on PC. May 11th, Fuga Melodies of Steel 2, Cloud Console and PC. Are you looking forward to any of those games?
They don't sound all that great at first to play, but I want to try them out. Repeat the second one again. I'm sorry, what was that called again?
Ravenloke.
Ravenloke. That sounds like a puzzle game at first.
Yes, so it's like I said, nothing really. It's nothing being added after the flop that Redfall seemed to be.
Yeah,
it's nothing really here is interesting me.
Mm-hmm.
I think Xbox was basically banking on Redfall being a huge success.
Right.
Ready to move on?
Yeah, I'm ready.
All right. Next. Oh. Let's see. Xbox Game Pass referral program unveiled. Microsoft will let subscribers give up to 5 trials to friends on PC. Microsoft wants Xbox Game Pass Ultimate and PC Game Pass subscribers to spread the good word of its subscription service. So, with that in mind, the company has debuted a referral program in which they can pass up along to 5 PC Game Pass 14-day trials to their friends or enemies. No way to confirm that aspect. Xbox Wire does point out, though, that only people new to Game Pass can take advantage of this new promotion, so that may limit who's available in your circles to offer up the gift. The timing on this new referral program probably isn't coincidental. Microsoft just launched Redfall, a multiplayer-centric FPS where players slay vampires and their supporters. It's one of the biggest Xbox first-party games of the year, though GameSpot's Redfall review wasn't kind to what it calls a buggy and undeveloped title. Redfall isn't the only new title on the way to Game Pass. Microsoft just announced the first wave of May titles for the service, with the list also including Ravenlock and Fuga Melodies of Steel 2. A couple of other titles of other games Microsoft highlights for this new referral program are Forza Horizon 5 and Sea of Thieves. In March, Microsoft ended the $1 Xbox Game Pass trial, so this referral program seems to currently be the only way for new people to test out the service. So, what do you think? Do you think this referral program is gonna? Do you think this referral program is gonna help get new subscribers?
It's like the preview program that I signed up for many years now. It's like a similar fashion. This time it's more like you actually are doing word of mouth via not only Xbox Live and the internet as a whole, but also people in person that you know of too. So, more power to Microsoft Xbox to expand the horizons. This time they have the user of Xbox Live, the users, the gamers of Xbox Live, to do some kind of referrals of sorts, like you said. So it's all right in my book. Do that stuff as long as you get rewards for it. Like if you get like 5 people to refer to Xbox Live subscription, and you give them your email address or something associated with your gamer tag, whatever, then you get like $1 to gift card or whatever, or $5 gift card, something like that. So it's if they do something like that, because that's what they do with other companies like Stash, Cash App. I know these are cash related companies or bank related companies, but with Stash.com, I know I'm like giving out free advertising, but Stash.com, they actually give you like $5 for every person you refer to, or $40 if they complete the transaction of sign up for Stash. So it's pretty good what the Microsoft is doing right now at this time too. So, like I said, I've been part of the preview program since like 2016, if not 2017. I got good features, seeing the up about of what they're going to do for the general public, especially with Minecraft at the time. I think I had the Bedrock edition back. I went back to the Bedrock edition, and at the time it was the Mojang edition during that time too. So it's like I was going back and forth between those features. And I never played much of Minecraft as much, but whenever I did with friends, they told me that it's not worth it. I say something it is. It's depends on the person, gamer to gamer. It all depends on the gamer if they want to go for the preview program, but you have to have a referral for that too. So it's a mixture of both. You're doing both referral and preview at the same time. So that's what I might take on that.
Yeah, they didn't mention what the rewards would be. I hope they're giving out rewards. I mean, even Game Pass I think had rewards if you referred their service. So like a free month of GameFly back in the day. So that's one thing I noticed. They didn't mention what the rewards would be for the person referring the service. If anything, I don't even. So that's something they should. Yeah, there should be something like even a free month if you get 5 people to use your link to try out Game Pass for 2 weeks.
Or or you get like a free $5 gift card or something of that sort. Because I just got my rewards points cashed in as of like last week or two, and I got a $5 gift card from having like about 7,000 or 6,000 Microsoft points. I been saving up over the months, and I bought myself a Dig Dug on sale for about $2 of those $5.
That was kind of a scam. You can get like a free month of Game Pass for like between 8,000 to 10,000 points.
Oh, it was something like that, but it was $5 gift card though.
Yeah, but I'm saying you traded in $5. If you had waited till you got like 1,000 more points, you probably could have gotten a free month of Game Pass, which is like a $15 service.
I think they increased the points numbers though. It's definitely 10,000 points if you get like a $10 gift card or something of that sort, or a free month of.
I've seen that the 10,000 is like a recurring service.
Okay,
but like just 1 month of Game Pass is like 8,000 points. I've been saving my points for that ever since I learned how little the gift cards you can actually earn in a single month.
It's no big deal.
You can earn in the every single month if you just cash in for a gift card at the end.
I see. It's no big deal. There's no big deal to me that I spent it on the gift card, the $5 gift card. I mean, it was on sale, Dig Dug, for like $1, $2, not even. And I was like, why not? So I was that surprised with Dig Dug they actually have it on sale during with other games too. Like Max Payne was on sale. Max Payne 1 and 2 were on sale for $9 each last week or two.
Oh, wow.
My God, I was too late for the sale. Yeah, I was too late for the sale though, because by the time I got paid, it was the day after the sale ended. So sucks to be me right now.
Yeah,
I got my PS2 versions. I can still always play that with you guys. I did play Max Payne 1 last year on my gaming channel, so check that out. It's not that bad. So the PS2 version.
Yeah, I got the PS2 again. I got the PS2 version of 1 and 2 also, so I could play those anytime I want.
Yeah, did I actually give it to you as a gift, Max Payne 2? Did I?
I don't think so.
Or that it was something where I kept you onto one of your games for a few months, and I said to you, I will only give you like one of the Max Payne games of mine for the sake of as like
I don't remember actually.
Yeah, it was so many years ago. It was like 2014, 2015.
Yeah, and then when I was walking home from a haircut, like in 2015, 2016, a guy on my block, he was putting out these racks that you can hang on your wall to store like DVDs.
Mm-hmm.
And he basically he was trying to sell me on them. I wasn't biting. He put them on the curb, and he said there were video games in there. So I looked, I'm like, and he's walking to his car on the other side of the street. I'm like, how much do you want for the video games? He's like, whatever you want, just take them. And I got for PS2, I got Max Payne Complete for free, Max Payne 2, except missing the manual, for free, X-Men Legends and X-Men Legends 2: Rise of Apocalypse, also missing the manual but including the case, all for free.
Wow.
And
that's a good deal.
I think I sold those games. But
you should keep the Max Payne games. You should keep on Max Payne games. That'll be more valuable in the future.
I still have Max Payne 1 and 2. I think these were going to be like extras. So what do I need 2 Max Payne games for?
All right. Well, best of luck to you selling the Max Payne games the next 35, 40 years, where the 50th anniversary comes up. Be like, yeah, bro. Be doing a stream and all, and be like selling it, and stuff like that. If ever, I hope.
Yeah, maybe Max Payne 2. I think my first Max Payne is like the greatest hits.
And I hope we'll see a Max Payne 4 the next 10 years. Remedy and Rockstar Games, if you're hearing us,
Yep,
it's been rumored for years.
Ready to move on?
Yeah, I just want to say though that it's been rumored for years Max Payne 4 to be released, and it's been since like 2017. I've been hearing about that, so I'm crossing my fingers for that. Remedy and Rockstar, please,
Well, that would be cool. I wouldn't hold your breath on that.
I know.
And besides, it'd probably play like Max Payne 3 did, which wasn't bad. It's just people were like, "This isn't Max Payne."
It's Max Payne, the character, but not the Max Payne we knew from the first two games. So.
Right.
It's for the new generation, the Max Payne 3, you know?
Hey, it was still a good game.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Good music. Tears to the band that's behind the music. Also, the soundtrack of Max Payne 3. I'm supposed to have it on. I think I still have them on my computer at the download because it was the code. It was attached with my statue of Max Payne that I had, but that broken. The had broken off when I dropped them by mistake, so I had to get a new one, and hopefully I can find another one for a decent price. But at this rate, it's not there for an affordable price on eBay. So that Max Payne 3 bundle is definitely worth it for like 30, 40, 50 bucks back then. But now it's like that's like 100, 200, 300 on eBay if you're lucky, you know?
Right.
So.
All right, ready to move on?
Yeah, I'm ready.
All right, next. Billy and Jimmy return in Double Dragon Gaiden, Rise of the Dragons. Billy and Jimmy Lee are making a comeback in Double Dragon Gaiden, Rise of the Dragons. This new co-op brawler is coming this summer and will revitalize the dormant series in a new tag team-focused adventure. Set in New York City after it's been destroyed by nuclear war, Billy and Jimmy must take back what remains from the violent gangs that have since taken over. They won't be doing it alone, though. The game features 13 playable characters, including Marion, the brother's old love interest, who now packs a pistol to blast threats from afar, and newcomer Uncle Martin, a tank-like fighter with a riot shield. According to a press release, Double Dragon Gaiden boasts seamless tag team abilities and a multitude of strategies for devastating combos, defensive and offensive moves. Solo players can swap characters on the fly to switch between their individual skills, such as the offense-focused Jimmy and more defensive Billy. This game supports two-player local co-op at launch. Online co-op is coming in a post-launch update. Double Dragon Gaiden tasks players with toppling 4 gang leaders and features a unique dynamic mission select system. Missions can be tackled in any order, and this selection affects their length, difficulty, and the number of enemies that appear. Earning cash unlocks powerful special movies that movies that knock out enemies, and you can also obtain crowd control moves that can wipe out multiple foes. Other gameplay options include an adjustable difficulty, permadeath, and infinity modes, and unlockable bonuses. Double Dragon Gaiden Rise of the Dragons is being developed by Secret Base and published by Modus Games. It's coming to PS5, Xbox Series, PS4, Xbox One, Switch, and PC. So this sounds like Double Dragon's take on Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles: Shredder's Revenge. Are you interested in this game?
Oh yeah, Double Dragon. I remember. I think there was a TV show. Was it a TV show, Double Dragon? No.
There was a movie that sucked.
Oh, okay, not just the movie. Okay, because I remember seeing something about Double Dragon many decades ago, and it's I think it was like either the Super Nintendo. No, it was Sega CD. No, it wasn't Sega CD. Dude, it's been such a long time. I haven't seen anything like that in Double Dragon in a while. But I remember the gameplay of Double Dragon back on the Super Nintendo Genesis arcade, system. So it's
originally came out on Nintendo.
Okay, all right.
Double Dragon had its own trilogy on Nintendo, and then I think Double Dragon 4 and like Double Dragon Meet Battletoads was on Super Nintendo, and they had a Double Dragon game on Xbox One on Game Pass.
I see. Huh. Wow, this was such a long time. I haven't played Double Dragon in years.
Yeah. And they also had Battletoads on Game Pass, which I tried that third level, and boy, that it really is hard. But that's Battletoads. Right. I'm excited for Double Dragon Gaiden. That's a series I grew up with. I grew up with Double Dragon 2, The Revenge for Nintendo. So yeah, any game that looks like it's going to be that it's going to be co-op, it sounds like a great idea. I
hope it'll be all compatible with other players to play online with.
Well, they said it's coming in a later update.
Okay, that's
so, and it won't be available at launch, but that's supposed to be coming. So,
yeah, they have Rage as part of the Sega. What's it called? The Sega Collector's Edition
Sega Vintage Collection.
Yeah, that's the one. I have that on my Game Pass library, my game library, excuse me. And
Yeah, I have the
I was
Streets of
online.
Rage and the Monster World trilogies.
Oh, yeah, okay,
Because they were offered with games with gold at one point.
right.
Um, but yeah, I love this Double Dragon game. I'm excited for this when it comes out.
Mm-hmm.
Ready to move on?
Yeah, I'm ready.
All right. Next, Xbox Game Pass, the Netflix of gaming, is struggling to find its big hits. Xbox Game Pass might be a good deal for the majority of gamers, but Microsoft's big exclusives often leave a lot to be desired, like the recent Redfall. That's going to be a punching bag for the next few months. Xbox's latest splashy exclusive, Redfall, launched this week to disappointing reviews and a collective shrug from many players. Considered a departure from developers Arcane's core strengths of work building and stealth gameplay, its most confusing flaw is perhaps its lack of identity. Many have open that feels like a game but doesn't know what it wants to be. Xbox grind gaming strategy is bigger than just one underwhelming exclusive, of course, and the console manufacturer's biggest game of the year is still to come in the form of Starfield. However, Xbox's shaky track record when it comes to big exclusives in recent years has spurred much discussion within the gaming community, with some Game Pass subscribers wondering what the future of the service might look like. Xbox Game Pass is indeed the current Netflix of gaming, but the service has struggled to find its bona fide hits, its Stranger Things, its Wednesdays, its Dahmers, and when we look in the direction that the major streaming services are currently headed, that spells some interesting decisions for Xbox in the next 2 to 3 years. You don't have to look far to find people expressing frustration or uncertainty about the future of Xbox system sellers. On the Xbox Series X subreddit, players cracked wise about next year being the year, and boss Phil Spencer unveiling Old Reliable in the form of the consistently excellent Forza franchise. And though these are just jokes and memes, that's an undercurrent of exasperation that runs through many of the replies. Some have discussed whether or not Game Pass justifies its monthly cost at this juncture, which is obviously a personal judgment call. To be fair to Microsoft, Xbox Game Pass has plenty of quality exclusives. The Forza series remains arguably the best racing series in gaming. Pentiment is one of the most striking narrative titles in recent memory. Psychonauts 2 is a great platformer, and Hi-Fi Rush surprised everyone with its innovative take on the rhythm game formula. However, you can certainly argue that none of these games have the scale and mass appeal of a Spider-Man or a God of War. The game that many expected to bridge that gap, Halo Infinite, is perhaps the most indicative example of Xbox blockbuster woes. Though Infinite received almost universally positive reviews on launch, with critics and players particularly praising its campaign, the lack of follow-through on its ambitious live service aspects robbed the game of a long-term audience. The high-profile layoffs that followed an announcement that served as bizarre proof of life further muddled matters. It's unclear if Infinite will ever be able to bounce back from its rocky post-launch period. However, it shouldn't be counted out entirely. It is Halo, after all. What makes Xbox's current rate of affairs so galling for many players is that it arguably has one of the best things going in the industry, Game Pass. With hundreds of games available, almost any player can find several titles they're interested in with a quick usal of its app. Just like in the early days of streaming, Game Pass has managed to garner millions of subscribers through its impressive catalog. However, the main issue with the service is that Xbox is not involved in the production of the vast majority of those games, and players could go elsewhere to experience them. Game Pass is a unique value proposition at the moment, but that could change in the coming years. The early years of streaming services are an interesting point of comparison here. Netflix has caught flack from long-term subscribers for pivoting away from the content-rich strategy that paid off for them in years past. Hold on. I think my dog wants to come in. Let's see. In the early 2010s, Netflix was one of the only major streaming services out there and contained many high-profile movies and TV shows that simply aren't there anymore. A 2020 Vox analysis concluded that U.S. Netflix total amount of content shrunk nearly 50% from 2012 to 2020, from a high of 11,000 to around 6,000. Today, beloved shows like Friends and The Office spark multi-million-dollar bidding wars for their streaming rights, and the amount of competition in the streaming space is ever increasing. However, as that same analysis argues, Netflix saw the difficulty coming, and that's why the company has doubled down on original content again and again over the past decade. After years of failed attempts from other parties, Xbox has arguably proven out the concept of a video game subscription service and is currently enjoying the massive market share that comes with that success. But a paid subscription like services, like Game Pass are truly the future of video games, a shift that could be powered by the continuing emergence of cloud gaming technology, then increased competition is inevitable. Those hypothetical rivals could sap support from Game Pass, which could eat into its market share over time. It's worth noting that Netflix has had itself shed subscribers in recent years, as TV watchers have decreased the amount of services that they pay for. The same effect may come for Game Pass over time. Though the service may boast around 500 games, if subscribers have already played the ones they're most interested in, and the splashy new ones fail to capture their imagination, this quantity over quality approach may come to haunt Xbox in the future. Currently, I would argue that Xbox Game Pass is the hidden gem service. My best experiences with Game Pass have come when I installed a game that I've never heard of on a whim, or some retro title that I played for 30 minutes at a friend's house a decade ago. While that's certainly fine for now, if a competitive service moves in, players are going to look to the top of the line blockbuster experiences on offer as major point of comparison. On that point, I think many people would agree that Xbox is lagging behind the competition. Perhaps I'm biased, but as a hardcore Gears fan, it strikes me as quite strange that it's been nearly 4 years since the last major title in the series, and it's not even clear if Gears 6 is in development stages yet. Microsoft is under no obligation to make another Gears game. Of course, but given its absence, the murky status of many first-party games like Perfect Dark and Rare's new project, Everwild, makes it difficult to see what will carry the service past Starfield. Like it or not, we live in an era that is dominated by communal experiences and the shadow of that, FOMO, the fear of missing out. The truly successful cultural products of the streaming era, especially TV shows, have become experiences that you share with your friends, family, and co-workers even away from the screen. People discuss what might happen on the next Game of Thrones or Succession or a Marvel movie around the digital water cooler in the same way they used to talk about soap operas like Dallas in a previous era. In just a few days, gamers around the world will dive into Zelda, Tears of the Kingdom for the first time, and it will be a can't-miss cultural phenomenon. Gamers will swap recipes, strategies, and viral clips for weeks or based on Breath of the Wild, years to come. Netflix has continued to capture that sort of viral internet attention with shows like Stranger Things and the recent Wednesday. The next Forza is assuredly going to be a great driving game, but it's probably not going to set the world on fire in that way. Starfield certainly might, but Redfall's underwhelming launch just puts all the more pressure on Bethesda to create a worthy successor to great series like Elder Scrolls and Fallout. Microsoft's apparent answer to these concerns is its pending acquisition of Activision Blizzard, which would be the biggest deal in gaming history. However, considering that the process has faced legal challenge after legal challenge in the past few months, it's unclear if it will actually manage to leap those hurdles. Faced with an uncertain force, it may be time for Xbox as an organization to reconsider its hands-off approach to studio management. Regardless of the specific changes, something does have to give when it comes to its blockbusters. Perhaps Starfield could help quiet the waters. So, do you think the person who wrote this is right or wrong?
Well, if you're referring to like Xbox Game Pass, obviously it's.
Basically, the point is Xbox Game Pass doesn't have its main eventers. It doesn't have its marquee games.
Oh yeah, like Redfall supposed to be the marquee games or the mainstay games of the Xbox Game Pass library, but that one flopped and it sucked. It's retarded, like I said earlier. So it's it's the point where it's like it's a never-ending battle trying to appeal to the niche audience of gaming, and I guess you could say that Xbox's way of doing things is not the best way of doing things sometimes, and they did well with the Xbox 360 and its games with gold and stuff like that after its time. But now it's like they don't. It seems they just lost all interest in doing anything creative or anything like first of its kind type of fashion. And Redfall was supposed to be something like that. but I see that it's to no avail. Not the case. It sucks. I can't say much about it.
Well, I agree with this article. I mean, we're not. I agree with this article basically. Honestly, what's keeping me interested in Game Pass right now is the quantity over quality approach. But even then, when I play games that I thought I wouldn't be interested in, or games that I knew I'd be interested in, like Plague Tale Requiem, which can be played on cloud, or Watch Dogs 2, which I'm actually giving a second chance because I feel I judged it way too quickly the first time around.
Right.
Eventually, what's going to be left if the new rivals to Game Pass are mediocre at best?
Yeah.
So I do agree. It's not something to worry about now, but they do have to plan. Say, okay, after Starfield, what do we have on tap?
Yeah.
And then like a year from then, if Xbox doesn't have anything, then they're gonna feel the pain, basically.
Oh yeah, Starfield's their last ace in the hole, and once until that flops, if ever, and if it doesn't, if it's successful, they'll recover Xbox or the Xbox division of Microsoft, at least that. But Phil Spencer, if he's listening on our podcast, or if ever within the next few months, Phil Spencer, we understand your pain that you feel that you didn't do well with Redfall, but you have Starfield. You got to keep it going. You can't give up so easily. And I've been not a fanboy or one of those, I love Xbox no matter what type of fanboys. I'm a loyalist, a customer loyalist, if you want to call it like that. I've been at this Xbox brand, playing the Xbox brand since 2008. Never had the Xbox till 2008 and all. I would be playing with PlayStation at beforehand, and Xbox came at the right time with Xbox 360 and all. So if they keep that momentum like they did with 360 for the Xbox Series X and S, if not, then everything will be fine within the next couple of years or so. But if not, then it's just going to be another downhill from here on out after 2023. So,
yeah. So they need something.
Oh yeah, they need more creative.
Ready to move on?
Remedy.
Okay. Hold on. Okay. Next, we only got 4 more stories. Xbox head Phil Spencer opens up about Redfall's disappointing launch. I'm upset with myself. Redfall has been a letdown for many players, but perhaps no one is more disappointed than Xbox head Phil Spencer. During an appearance this morning on Kinda Funny Games Xcast, the executive opened up about Redfall's launch woes. There's nothing that's more difficult for me than disappointing the Xbox community, says Spencer when asked about his reaction to the game's poor reception. Just to kind of watch the community lose confidence, be disappointed. I'm disappointed. I'm upset with myself. Spencer continues by touching on the criticism of Redfall launching at 30 frames per second, how it goes against Microsoft's original claim of first-party Xbox Series titles always running at 60 frames per second. That was kind of our punch in the chin, rightfully, a couple weeks ago, he says, before later assuring Arcane is on track towards delivering its previously promised 60 FPS performance mode. In terms of the speculation about how Redfall came to be in the first place, Spencer refutes the perception that Arcane was forced into making it by stating, "There's clearly quality and execution things that we could do, but one thing I won't do is push against creative aspirations of our teams. A lot of people will say, hey, you've got teams. Teams know how to do one kind of game. Just force them to go do the one kind of game that they kind of have a proven track record for, and I'm not a believer in that." He then cites studios like Rare, Obsidian, and Tango Gameworks being allowed to take creative swings with titles such as Sea of Thieves and Hi-Fi Rush, respectively. "I want to give the teams a creative platform to go and push their ability push their aspirations, but I also need to have a great selection of games that continue to come that surprise and delight our fans. And we under-delivered on that, and for that I apologize. It's not what I expect, nor what I want, but it's ours to deliver." Redfall has been lambasted for its questionable design decisions and technical glitches, prompting Kinda Funny to ask how Microsoft decides when to delay a project. Spencer explains that if a studio has a production timeline that doesn't allow the completion of a game's vision by a deadline, that's a cause for a delay. However, and seemingly in Redfall's case, if it comes down to a team achieving a creative vision that then fails to resonate with players, a delay isn't necessarily always the solution. I think there's a fundamental piece of feedback that we got that the game isn't realizing the creative vision that it had for its players. That doesn't feel like a, hey, just delay it. That feels just like the game had a goal to do one thing, and when players are actually playing, they're just not feeling that thing. They're not feeling the creative execution of the team. Spencer reiterates his support for Arcane Austin, adding that the team just didn't hit their own internal goals in Redfall's case. Be sure to watch Kinda Funny's full 40-minute interview as Spencer, who also discusses the ongoing Microsoft Activision. We're going to talk about that next. We're still evaluating Redfall, but you can read our review in progress to get our current thoughts on the game here. So, what do you think about Phil Spencer's reaction to Redfall's mediocre launch?
Yeah, like I said earlier in the podcast, I actually watched the full interview with Funny Gamers, if I remember their name again. I actually watched the 40-minute interview or 40-minute discussion with Phil Spencer and some other. I think he's a celebrity of sorts, but I never saw him before, so I can't say his name yet. I don't know his name at all to begin with. Sorry about that. But yeah, Phil Spencer was there talking with these two other guys on the screen and all. And he looked disappointed. He looked upset. I did say just before a few minutes ago that just keep on moving. You got Starfield to worry about now. Redfall, yes, it was good on paper. It looked good last year at E3, I believe, and the Game Awards show and everything else from late last year in December. But it's you guys got to stop doing that after a while. You got to show the real product or the overall gaming product. You can't show the audio-visual, high-quality 4K, mid-ray tracing, like max buffery of like all sorts of goodness of video quality to the general public, knowing that when they play the Xbox One X or the Xbox Series X and S, and the PS5 or wherever it comes first, of certain games, especially with Xbox Series X and S, obviously they have to stick with what they have available to the public. Yes, does it seem kind of short of itself, or selling short on the Game Pass as well as on overall reviews? Yeah, it is. It's just. It is what it is. It sucks. I hope Phil Spencer will overcome that. That grief and just focus on Starfield for another 3, 4, 5 months, and hopefully it'll come out good.
Yeah. Yeah. So, basically, that's most of what I have to say. Like we said, and what I said after the last story. Starfield is basically their ace in the hole now until we hear about more projects that they're working on. But they need those. They need those, like I said, big time AAA blockbuster titles that are going to get the attention of most gamers.
Oh yeah.
Ready to move on?
Yeah, I'm ready.
All right, we're going to talk about his reaction to the CMA's decision next, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Phil Spencer reacts to UK blocking Microsoft Activision deal and discusses next steps. Activision Blizzard King is not our strategy. Microsoft Gaming CEO Phil Spencer has commented on the United Kingdom's Competition and Markets Authority decision to block the deal to buy Activision Blizzard for $68.7 billion. Speaking to Kinda Funny, Spencer and Xbox continues to feel confident that the deal will eventually go through, and then the next step is to appeal the decision. As that's happening, Spencer said Microsoft continues to work with the European Union and the FTC to get the deal done. There are about 14 jurisdictions that Microsoft is seeking approval for, and so far 9 have approved it, Spencer said. The CMA rejected the Microsoft deal over concerns about the cloud gaming market. Spencer, like others, said he believes the cloud gaming market is only just getting started, which makes the decision puzzling. The CMA decision was disappointing. We've been talking to that group for coming up on a year. They defined a market of cloud gaming that, in my mind, doesn't really exist yet today. But they have a point of view that maybe we have a lead in the market that's just forming and that this content could somehow prohibit others from competing in that market, Spencer said. Also, in the interview, Spencer doubled down on his stated belief that Microsoft does not necessarily need Activision Blizzard to deliver on its strategy, but it would help speed things up. Activision Blizzard King is not our strategy, but is an accelerant for our strategy, Spencer said. Following the CMA's decision on April 26, Spencer sent a memo to staff about it in which he said Microsoft will press ahead even if the deal does not go through. The EU will hand down its decision on the deal by May 22nd, while the FTC will hold its first hearing in August 2023. So it appears this case won't be settled anytime soon. Spencer has been making headlines lately. In addition to commenting on the CMA's decision, he reacted to Redfall's bad reviews and Starfield being a great game won't help Xbox catch up to PlayStation. So what do you think about his reaction to the CMA rejecting the Activision Blizzard deal?
It's
Do you believe the cloud gaming market is still in its infancy and that's why there's not many competitors?
Oh yeah, definitely. Xbox tries to they try to go after that market right away and then take up the space in the meantime and give it out, in a business sort of way, rather than try to give it out for free through competition. I can't blame Phil Spencer, Microsoft, and Xbox for the matter. They try to go for the first come first serve. It is what it is in the market, but we have regulators, especially in nations like Canada and the United Kingdom and Australia, especially when they're overregulated with Grand Theft Auto in Australia. So that's a story of itself by itself. So it's ridiculous. So these nations, Canada, UK, and Australia, I know that they're not connected to each other, but they actually have their own strict, severe regulations on gaming or other technological services given to the public. So, but more power to Phil Spencer and Xbox division for trying to grasp that market in time and then just resell it to those who want it. But obviously, CMA doesn't want that in the United Kingdom. So, it's going to be like a hit and miss and bopping, weaving, and chicken jiving.
All right. That's also another thing. As the CMA might be thinking, hey, Xbox has a monopoly in the cloud gaming market, when the cloud gaming market just doesn't have that many people in it to begin with, so anyone in it would be almost a monopoly at that point. But like I said, they've also signed deals with other cloud gaming markets that are, if not in the States, operating somewhere else. So, their fears of a monopoly just don't seem that. Their fears of it being a monopoly just doesn't sound like maybe they don't know enough,
Yeah.
But ready to move on?
Yeah, CMA sounds like they're lacking the techno knowledge or a call like that of technology at large. I mean, most of the game review boards consist of like range that is in like 50s, 40s. So that's about it so far. At the earliest in these committees and jurisdictions. So for the next couple of decades, it should transfer all that power transfer to the gamers themselves. Because obviously the ones who are in charge now, doesn't matter what technology company it is, they just thinking of the old way of life. The old way of like things were like back in the 20th century. So we're now going to move into the 21st century, and this time, with full force,
Right.
So.
All right. Moving on.
Alrighty.
Deep Silver parent company restructuring, layoffs coming. The company is also dropping 3 publishing labels. Deep Silver's parent company, Ployon, will reportedly be making changes in its game publishing business, which will involve both laying off workers and merging several of its brands. According to GamesIndustry.biz, Ployon is dropping Deep Silver, Prime Matter, and Ravenscourt, instead of publishing titles under those labels. Future titles will reportedly be published under Ployon. The aim is reportedly to produce fewer titles at a higher quality. A Ployon representative told GamesIndustry.biz that the restructuring will simplify its publishing business and only affect about 5 to 6 jobs out of the over 2,000 employees currently there. Additionally, the restructuring won't take effect immediately, but over the next year. The spokesperson also clarified that games may still be published under the three labels over the next couple of years. The spokesperson also noted that this has nothing to do with the Embracer Group's ongoing review. It's unclear what's happening, if anything, with Milestone and Vertigo Games. PlayOn was previously known as Cope Media, which rebranded to its current name in August 2022. Deep Silver is known for its games such as Dead Island 2 and Saints Row. Ravenscourt was founded in 2014 and is best known for Road 96, while Prime Matter was founded in 2021 and is set to publish games like Payday 3 and System Shock Remake. GameSpot has reached out to PlayOn for comment. So, what do you think of these companies? This doesn't sound so bad. Like they said, restructuring, but they're only going to lay off 5 to 6 employees over the next couple of years.
Yeah, well, Deep Silver, that's a gaming company, right?
Yeah.
I see. You know what games they actually made so far from this company?
Like I said, their publishing labels include Saints Row, the remake, Dead Island 2, the System Shock remake, Payday 3.
I see.
Yeah.
Wow. Wait, Payday 3 is coming out soon?
I guess so.
Oh, wow.
Payday 2's been out forever.
Okay, obviously. I actually have a copy of Payday 2. I played about a few minutes of Payday 2. Didn't like much of it, really, because I was playing it by myself, of course. But other than that, that's good that this company, Deep Silver, made Payday. That's pretty cool. There's only a couple of people that laying off, so that's not so bad.
And they did say that it's only going to affect 5 to 6 people, and it's not going to be immediate. It's going to happen over the next year or two.
All right. If they have to reorganize, they have to reorganize. That's all. More power to them.
So, ready for the final story tonight?
Yeah, I'm ready.
All right. Last, I should say. PlayStation's Pixel Opus Studio is shutting down. The self-described small team was behind Concrete Genie and Entwined. Pixel Opus, our in-house studio for Sony, has shuttered. The developers behind Concrete Genie and Entwined announced that the adventure has come to an end. On Twitter, Pixel Opus, self-described as a small Sony team, revealed that it was closing up shop. As we look to new futures, we wanted to say a heartfelt thank you to the millions of passionate players who have supported us and our mission to make beautiful and imaginative games with heart, the studio wrote. GameSpot reached out to Sony for an official comment and was told the following. PlayStation Studios regularly evaluates its portfolio and the status of studio projects to ensure they meet the organization's short and long-term strategic objectives, a Sony representative said. As part of a recent review process, it has been decided that Pixel Opus will close on June 2nd. Sony revealed that formation of Pixel Opus in 2014 before E3. The studio is reportedly founded by Carnegie Mellon University and San Jose State University students who worked on game prototypes for PlayStation Vita. Entwined was the team's first game and launched on PS4 before arriving on PS3 and Vita. In 2017, Pixel Opus revealed the PS4 game Concrete Genie, starring a kid named Ash who can bring his paintings to life. GameSpot Concrete Genie review found the title an endearing experience throughout. There was a report in 2021 that Pixel Opus was working on a PS5 game in collaboration with Sony Pictures, but nothing was ever officially unveiled, with a job listing mentioning that the title was seemingly utilizing Unreal Engine 5. So, did you ever play Concrete Genie or Entwined?
I heard of those titles before in the past. We're not sure exactly when, though. But they sound like okay games to try out if I had a PlayStation. Actually, if it's on the PlayStation 3 I currently have right now. Unfortunately, it's on the PS4 and the PS5, unfortunately. So that sucks right there. Me personally, it sucks that this company has to shut down after all these years. Even though it's only for 10 years it's been around, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, right? Just about 10, just under 10.
Yeah, so it sucks, Yeah, I guess what's going on, like I said, with the markets and all, it's starting to affect the game industry as a whole now. At one point, it was what's called the the online media, the online news media started to be affected by it. Like I said, BuzzFeed being shut down also. It's all connected. They all faltering or reorganize it or rehash it. So it's it's a south cycle so the market go. So hopefully these people who are working there will find some other work at some other studios and bring their knowledge and on their understanding about how games work to other companies. And then that'll be the greatest asset to either PlayStation or PlayStation Studios or Sony PlayStation Studios or Sony Picture Studios or even Xbox themselves, the Microsoft company, if ever, so it's more power to them.
Yeah. So I never played these games. I never really heard Pixel Opus. But apparently they're shutting down, unfortunately. And that's all we have for tonight. Anything else you want to talk about before we sign off for tonight?
I just want to say, sorry if you can't see me on camera right now. It's just that my computer is partially broken in a sense. It's the USB ports are not working well, so that's why you don't see me on camera. So hopefully by next month I get a new computer and take it from there. So let me tell you guys to hear my beautiful voice. All right.
All right. Well, yeah. As far as plans go, do check out my website, Jimmy's, JIMMYS-deals.com. I do plan to write my Yakuza Like a Dragon review tomorrow. I was thinking about doing it today. That's all I really have it planned for, especially with my new job starting next week. A lot of things still up in the air, but a lot of questions will be answered after Monday. So,
can I say one more thing, Triple J?
Sure.
So, guys, I'll do a Resident Evil stream sometime next week officially. I'll make an announcement on my Twitter account and tell you what days, either Thursday, Friday, or Saturday next week. And I'll just try to do a couple more gameplay sessions with you guys to take it from there. Hopefully, it's got to be at least a couple more because I'm still up to the part where I had to find a detonator to that bomb the last stream I did last year with you guys. So thank you for waiting for me to continue doing the gameplay. And I know that most of my gameplays on Twitter and YouTube are like partially played because it depends on my time and also the fact of storage reasons. So it's a lot of storage if you try to play a full game of like GTA 5 or even what's it called, Unravel, if ever. So it's give me some time, guys. All right. Thanks again, Triple J.
Yeah, I just want to respond to chat room. Yo, Brawler says, yo, hey, what's up? Yeah, so I hope you enjoyed this. Obviously, our next podcast will be in 2 weeks on Saturday, May 20th starting at 9 p.m. Eastern. I hope you can join us then. I don't know when my next stream will be. Obviously, if I don't have a chance to stream in the next 2 weeks, that will be my next stream. Kiba69420 said that's not his name, it's Brawlers. Okay, I just missed the Z. It was hard to see with his name in red. Yeah, I'm getting corrected in the chat. Anyway, so like I said, I'll definitely be back in 2 weeks. I don't know when I'll be streaming on Twitch between then and now. I hope you enjoyed this. Until next time, good night, everyone.
Goodbye.